Only 1 in 4 Singaporeans can accurately identify deepfake videos, according to the latest Cybersecurity Public Awareness Survey. That's despite 78% feeling confident they can. Alexandra Anand reports on what's driving these figures and the implications for online safety.
Globally recognized investment platform is running.
Deepfake technology is evolving at lightning speed,
especially if uploading to cloud storage.
Out of everyone polled for CSA's Cybersecurity Survey, only 1 in 4 people guessed correctly that this video was the real one. Most people stick to the usual tricks, like flagging sketchy content as a key way to spot fakes. But here's where it gets worrying. Even as scam losses hit a record $1.1 billion in 2024, up about 70% from 2023, the sense of personal risk is shrinking. Fewer people actually believe they could fall victim.
Phishing awareness has gone up, and more people are able to spot the signs of phishing. And this might conversely have led respondents to have that false sense of security when they believe that they will not fall prey to online scams, despite the number of local scam cases going up. We need to bear in mind that cybercriminals prey on emotions.
Experts say scammers are increasingly exploiting emotions to manipulate victims. They often capitalize on an individual's fear of authority figures or present offers that seem too good to be true, creating a sense of urgency that pressures victims into hasty decisions.
Phone call scams now using AI voices can be done quite easily. Video ones, pre-recorded, they can do it. The live ones, a bit harder, but it will improve in months to come. So these are where the technology is headed, and it's easily available. That's the danger, right? So it's not expensive for any scammers to take on this technology and generate this kind of content.
He says in such a digital climate, the key is to always go back to the source, especially when it comes to those requesting sensitive information. This September, CSA rolls out its 6th National Cybersecurity Campaign. It will zero in on core cyber hygiene habits, use strong passwords, turn on two-factor authentication, and to think before you click.
For the first time in the 2024 edition of the survey, questions about spotting deepfakes were included. And it makes sense. With generative AI tools becoming more common, it's getting easier than ever to create fake content designed to trick people. So let's dive in and take a closer look at some of the key findings. 3 in 4 people surveyed were unable to distinguish deepfakes from genuine videos, despite nearly 80% believing they could. Respondents commonly cited unsynchronized lip movements and suspicious content as their primary methods for verifying authenticity. Cybersecurity incidents have affected over 1 in 4 in Singapore, according to the 2024 survey. Among them, 6 in 10 were aged between 15 to 44 years old, and the rest were 45 and above. When it comes to online scams, close to 4 in 10 respondents believe they are still susceptible. Despite numbers dropping by 5 percentage points since 2022, scams remain a growing problem here. In the first 5 months of this year alone, over 16,000 cases were recorded in Singapore, with over $400 million lost. Around 2/3 of those surveyed were able to spot all phishing attempts correctly. But even so, about 1 in 5 still ended up at risk of falling for malware scams. Why? Well, some had clicked on pop-up ads or suspicious links and downloaded third-party apps over the past year, opening the door to potential threats. More people are getting proactive about protecting themselves online, especially those over 45. Nearly 2 in 3 have downloaded at least one cybersecurity app, including scam blockers like the Scam Shield app. And it's not just apps. More people are keeping their software up to date and turning on two-factor authentication to add an extra layer of scrutiny. For a deeper dive into this, we speak with Abhishek Kumar Singh. He is the head of security engineering at Checkpoint Software Technologies. Abhishek, thanks for joining us today. Now, the latest survey shows that Singaporeans feel at risk online risk scams, even though actually fewer Singaporeans feel at risk of the online scams, even though the number that scams have spiked up by 70% in 2024. There seems to be a gap between perception and reality. Why do you think people feel less vulnerable?
Thanks for having me. So first, we must thank actually and applaud Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore to basically have a sustained public awareness efforts. And if you look into the report of 2024, the Cybersecurity Public Awareness Survey, what we see, actually there is an increase in areas like strong password or multi-factor authentication adoption, which is good. But again, coming back to your question, right, what we are seeing is the perceived risk is low. But actually, if you look at it, the scams are actually on the rise, which basically suggests something. There is a false sense of security, right? So if you look into past 2023 itself, what basically we have seen is a heavy record loss of about $651 million on scams. And taking a little bit of different view, there is a major psychological differences. It exists, basically what people know and what they actually know, right? And this basically mismatch leads to a false sense of security. And if you look at it, typically more and more folks, right, they're still leveraging on older tactics like spotting typos or suspicious links, which are increasingly ineffective in this AI-driven scams. And to my perspective, I would say it's not just technical, it's also emotional, psychological, and increasingly adversarial.
Now, about 26% of people surveyed say they have fallen for a cyber incident. That's 26%. That's 1 in 4. 60% of those are aged between 15 and 44. Are you surprised that younger adults are more at risk? Is it a matter of behavior, exposure?
I would say that most of us typically assume that the seniors are vulnerable. Yeah. So, but basically, if you look at the Singapore data, it shows that the youth, which are basically between 20 to 49 years of age, they were basically constituting the majority of the victims that basically were seen. And the idea is quite simple in a way that they are heavily online and they often fall prey for e-commerce phishing, right, or a job-related scam, because we are living in a highly competitive world. But meanwhile, seniors are not that targeted. But what we have seen is basically they tend to have higher financial losses due to investment or impersonation attacks. So if you look into December 2024, what has happened, there was an elderly scam which actually has a loss of about $4.9 million. And it was basically by the bad actors deceiving the victim as a law enforcement agency is located overseas.
Right. Now, 8 in 10 feel they can spot a deepfake, which was included in the survey for the first time this year. But only 1 in 4 can actually do so. I mean, they basically failed it, right? Is that gap alarming to you?
I think from my perspective, it's a confidence capability gap. What basically it means is looking at, this is a false confidence, which is risky. What basically it means is people do not pause when they hear or see anything, which basically makes them vulnerable to misinformation, scam, or even impersonation attacks. So I think with deepfake becoming more and more realistic with the power of AI, I think what basically we should look at specifically is the digital skepticism. Verify before you basically been seen with emotionally charged or urgent contents.
Right. Now, are there tools out there, easy to use tools, for example, to help everyday users to spot deepfakes? And is there one quick tip you would like to share, how to verify what's fake?
So I would say that definitely there are tools which can detect hotspot deepfakes and can flag suspicious content. Some of the simple techniques that we can look at it is basically securing your mobile devices, securing your emails, securing your endpoints, and the entire security as an overarching arm of an AI-driven prevention tool. So I think that is something that we can look at it, and definitely it encompasses things like spam protection, right, IP reputation, network protection. So somebody sends you a message, it has a link. The moment you click the link, it should be blocked, right? Again, that's one. And if there are inappropriate messages that are coming in, we should be able to understand basically what's the content and eventually able to block it. But what is the most important difference that basically is because the AI is growing, right? And with this AI growing, the cyber attacks will continue to evolve. The best defense still remains a digital skepticism. Verify before you trust anything.
skepticism, so do not, fall back on complacency or this false sense of security. One last question for you, Abhishek. Now, if you could leave viewers today, with one key takeaway tonight on how to stay safe online, given the rather disturbing results of the survey that we saw, what would that one quick advice be?
Two things. First thing, definitely we should acknowledge and celebrate the success that we have on the awareness. More and more cyber hygiene is coming in. We do see, as I mentioned previously, increased use of strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, and even awareness on scam tactics. But while this being said, on the caution side, you should also look at, while the cyber hygiene is increasing, right, the threats are also evolving. And that is where basically what is important at this stage is three things. You need to be emotionally resilient, digitally skeptical, that's what I mentioned, and as well as equip yourself with cybersecurity tools. And CSA did basically have actually listed some of the security apps which the Singaporeans can adopt to keep the scammers away.
All right, Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us. And that was Abhishek Kumar Singh from Checkpoint Software Technologies.